Now, next time that you order room service, forget about bacon and eggs and burgers. How about congee, rice, or noodles? Starwood Hotels is betting big on Chinese travelers, and it's launching a program that caters specifically to the tastes and preferences of the outbound Chinese traveler. Now, earlier today, I spoke with Starwood's Frits van Paasschen for a CEO sit-down about how he decided to aggressively target the Chinese market.
This is something we conceived of last summer when we reflected on the fact that 30% of our growth in the coming years is going to come from the Chinese market. And we felt it would be an important way for us to get closer to our associates, to see more of the marketplace, and build relationships with our partners.
Frits, help us understand the market a little bit in China. How many hotels do you have now, and what's the plan for the future?
So today, as we speak, as of yesterday, we have 75 hotels open, but we have almost 100 hotels today under construction in China. So the market is large. China is our second largest market today, but looking to get much larger and one day potentially to be larger than the United States.
Now, you've also embarked on something called Starwood Personalized Travel, and that's related to travel in China, but it's going to influence what happens to your hotels outside of China as well. Explain that.
Yeah, so in many ways, we've come full circle. Our hotels here to begin with, we're here to cater to the travelers, Western travelers' needs. Now what we're seeing is our business in China is majority Chinese. The next big wave is the outbound travelers from China. Already about 50 million people travel out of China each year, which is roughly about the same as the number going outside of the United States. But we expect that number to double in the next 4 or 5 years, and each year about 25 million Chinese will leave the country for the first time.
Now, there has been a lot made about a hard landing for China's economy. Indeed, the Chinese central bank having raised interest rates recently in order to cool off accelerating inflation. You've been there a month. What can you tell us about the economic situation in China?
Well, I think in a nutshell, the first thing to bear in mind is that the economic transformation here is on a staggering scale. And you may have read numbers, you may have seen things, but actually to come here and witness it is something different altogether. Now, having said that, inevitably, in an economy that's this large, that's changing this quickly, there will be dislocations, there will be bumps along the road. But the bets that we're placing today aren't just for next year or the year after that. They're for the next 20 or 30 years. And while it's hard to know what will happen in any one year, we feel comfortable that it's a much better bet to bet on the growth here than to step back and be conservative. So will there be a hard landing? I don't think I know better than anybody else. Will China continue to grow in the next 10 or 20 years? We think it will.
Now, the bets that you're specifically making in China, can you give us an idea of how many of the hotels are going to be owned by Starwood and how many are going to be managed by you but owned by outside investors?
One of the things many people don't realize about our business here in China, or for that matter anywhere else in the world, 95% of the hotels that we have in our system are owned by somebody else, are owned by real estate investors, developers, and other funds. Our job is to find the right investors, the right developers in any one market. So of the nearly 100 hotels that we're building here, we're doing that in conjunction with local partners. They're the ones that are putting the capital in. We're bringing the expertise, the global brands, and the ability to connect into a global system.
Frits van Paasschen, the chief executive of Starwood Hotels.